Hey, it's Coach Ben from Online Soccer Skills, and today I wanted to do a short video about how to get a scholarship to play college soccer. And I got a question from one of the players who emailed me, and this is a player I'm personally training right now, and they emailed me with a question: what is the easiest way to get a college scholarship? And this is kind of a loaded question because if it was that easy, every player would be able to accomplish getting a scholarship to play in college. And frankly, it's not that easy. But I wanted to create this video to give you 3 tips that you can implement. And this is for someone who is trying to learn how to get recruited to play college for either D1, D2, or D3. And if you are a high school player, you really need to pay close attention. So the first tip that I would tell anyone who wants to play in college is you have to be proactive. And a lot of players out there really feel entitled. They feel like every coach is going to be calling them, wanting them to come play at their school, and it never works out that way. You have to be really on to the coaches. You have to be proactive about emailing, calling them, and really staying on top of making sure that you're getting your name and you're getting your face in front of them. That way they can come watch you play. And every college coach out there is extremely busy, and you're not the only player who is trying to go to that school. So you have to keep in mind that you really have to separate yourself from everyone else, and you have to stay proactive in this process, and that's really going to move you ahead of a lot of players who are lazy about the recruiting process. So the first thing is you got to stay proactive. The second thing is you have to take care of your grades. A lot of players out there are focusing so much on soccer, and they're putting so much time into training, and they're developing, they're getting better, but they are falling behind in the classroom. And this is something that will affect you being recruited or not. And a lot of players out there who do well in school and who do well in club soccer can get an athletic and an academic scholarship. And doing well in school is going to allow you to get an academic scholarship. And that's huge, because if there's a top school out there that really wants you and they can only give you 50% of an athletic scholarship, if you do well in school, the rest of the scholarship can come from an academic scholarship because you've done so well. So make sure you really want to do well in school, and prepare yourself. That way when you go into this process, that's something that is going to stand out. Schools are going to love that. You'll automatically be accepted to whatever college that you're trying to get into, and they can offer you academic money. And that's something that can really help you out, to be able to play in college. The last tip that I want to talk about is staying composed under pressure. And this is something that I learned when I was younger, when I was in high school. And when college coaches come watch you play, they're really there just watching you. They're not watching your teammates. They don't really care what the score is when they're watching. They're just watching you as an individual. So one thing that you have to remember is you can control your effort and your attitude while you're playing. And those are 2 things that coaches are going to be examining, and they're going to be looking while you're playing, what your body language is like, how you react when you guys get scored on, or how you react when you guys are winning. And these are all things that you have to pay close attention to, because the college coaches are wanting to give you money to come to their school, and they want to invest into the right person. They're not going to just blindly give anyone a scholarship. They want to make sure they know what kind of player you are, and more importantly, what kind of person you are. So while you're playing in those showcases and those tournaments, you have to really keep an eye on that and make sure you're setting a good example for yourself. So those are the 3 tips that I would give you if you're trying to play college soccer. And remember, these are 3 things that are very critical to your success if you want to go on and play in college. And those are 3 things that you're going to have to be able to do when you want to play at that next level. All right, I'll see you soon.